asking today why a panel advising the president about the country's next prosecutions boss is made up of all men. She spent hours trying to convince that panel, advising the president that she's suitable for the job. Interviews underway, of course, to fill the post of National Director of Public Prosecutions, the official title, after the courts declared that the appointment of Shaun Abrahams was invalid. She is so worried about the NPA, the National Prosecuting Authority, that at one stage she said not even the Pope could save it. And she, of course, was part of the team that prosecuted former police chief Jackie Selebi and Paralympian Oscar Pistorius. To discuss, we're joined on the line by SABC reporter Patricia Visagie. Patricia, Andrea Johnson was grilled about her decisions around Selebi after deals with other drug lords. He was the only one targeted. But the man who was grilling her was the same one who defended him. Did it seem personal? Were there any conflicts of interest potentially today?
Good evening, Francis. Well, from what I really interpreted, I wouldn't say it seemed personal, because equally so, the other panelists also grilled her on that same point. That was actually the part of the whole interview process that dominated her whole interview about how she could have done better at the time. We also heard one of the other panelists, and that is Advocate Lawrence Manye, who also went very strong at her, saying that she did nothing to perhaps expose some of the shenanigans that may have taken place at the time. And he also accused several times, saying that, hardened criminals are walking free currently because of what they perceive are errors at the time that were made, because the panelists wanted to really know why did they not take action at the time to prosecute Glenn Agliotti in particular. She was also grilled about the Brett Kavanaugh matter. So I don't think it was personal, because it was questions that came from all the panelists, really. And it was very interesting to hear how they said, but, it was an error in the NPA history that was very disappointing, and she was there when these things happened, and they're accused of having done nothing and really just sitting in the wings of the NPA and now hoping for the top job.
A lot of commentators saying, though, she's a strong candidate. There was another strong female candidate. So women are in the running for the top prosecution's job.
Certainly, she is a strong candidate, one must say, but one also has to take into consideration all 12 candidates. So one would say, 11 right now with Breitenbach, who has, of course, withdrawn. So all 11 candidates are very strong. It's people who are well experienced, well qualified, seasoned legal practitioners. But I think the question is, have they operated within the ambit of the Constitution over the years that they have been legal practitioners, whether for the state or in the private sector? That is actually what is at the center of all of this. You would know that, Francis. Right now, they're looking for a leader that can restore the integrity and the credibility of the NPA, and that can really claim back the confidence of the public. So it needs to be somebody that, of course, is of unimpeachable credibility here, somebody who's got great character. And we've heard candidate after candidate that have taken to the panel, giving a convincing, presentation about their performance, their belief systems, their character, their leadership skills, and so forth. So everybody is very strong, one would say. But of course, then we heard, the exchange with some of the other candidates, such as today we had the NPA chief in KZN, and that is Moiponi Noko, who was grilled severely to a point where she even got emotional, and it was really intense when that exchange was happening. She was accused of a whole lot of controversies, and one of the panelists even asking why she even made it to the shortlist, having all this dark cloud hanging around her. So you can imagine whoever gets that post, of course, has to be somebody that has been questioned to the bone in terms of their credibility, their integrity, their history, their performance, how they've used the law to apply in certain cases that they've handled, in particular those who work for the NPA. So yeah, it's very technical, and I would say it's a great standoff that we're seeing here. And just to see how all these candidates, all of them perhaps having that history. But the question is, are they all fit for the position? Are they all fit to stand in that, big space, of course, leading the NPA to a brighter future?
All right, thank you very much, SABC reporter Patricia Visagie. We'll check in with those interviews a little bit later on and maybe chat to her again a little bit later.